was a flame four times, because we had to fly from one place to fly another, so we were all over the map.
City on Netflix. We want to welcome you to our Leavenworth City Commission meeting. We ask that you turn off or silence all cell phones. Meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 6 p.m. and at midnight, and also available for viewing on YouTube. At this time, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by silent meditation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. At this time, we'll have a proclamation.
Oh, that's why they're going here.
Fire Prevention Week. The City of Leavenworth is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting our city. Fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally. And homes are on the location where people are at greatest risk from fire. Home fires killed more than 2,800 people in the United States in 2021. According to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 338,000 home fires. The City of Leavenworth Fire Department is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire deaths and injuries through prevention and proper education. The City of Leavenworth residents and responsive to public education measures and are able to lost my spot. And to take personal responsibility to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. Fire Prevention Week theme, cooking safety starts with you. Pay attention to fire prevention. Effectively serves to remind us to stay alert and use caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. With nearly half, 49% of the home fires involving cooking equipment, unattended cooking is the leading cause of these fires. I, Jermaine Wilson, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim October the 8th through the 14th, 2023 as Fire Prevention Week. Thank you. Y'all don't ask me to cook nothing. Thank you, sir.
Speak.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please say a few words.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the commission. With this year's fire prevention theme, cooking safety starts with you. Pay attention to fire prevention. We urge citizens to understand the risks associated with cooking. Please use caution when cooking. These are heat sources, what we refer to as ignition sources. This is where fire comes from, a heat source. While cooking, we are all utilizing a source of heat that can quickly and unfortunately develop into a deadly encounter. I have some startling statistics to back this up. According to the NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, in 2021, as the mayor said, home fires killed more than 2,800 people in the United States. Cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States. 2 of every 5 home fires start in the kitchen, with 31% of these fires resulting from unattended cooking. And as the mayor remarked, also, of the nearly half, 49% of all home fires involving cooking equipment, unattended cooking is the leading cause of these fires. More than half of reported non-fatal home cooking fire injuries occurred when the victims tried to fight the fire themselves. Here's how we hope to educate and aid the public in avoiding these devastating events. Residents should turn pot handles toward the back of the stove. Always keep a lid nearby when cooking. Keep a 3-foot kid-free zone around the stove, oven, and any other items that could get hot. Watch what they heat. Set a timer to remind you what you are cooking. Residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. Working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires almost in half. Have a dedicated serviceable fire extinguisher nearby. Again, we urge everyone to use caution when cooking. Remember, these are heat sources. ignition sources. This is where fire comes from. Many have unfortunately lost their lives while cooking, and often pleasurable pastime. We want to urge all citizens of Leavenworth to please be safe and feel free to call on the fire department at any time if you have any questions or concerns with anything you might think may be potentially hazardous, or if you would like a home fire safety survey. We also want everyone in this community to have a working smoke alarm. If any citizen needs a smoke alarm, call us. We have them made available. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And what is the contact number for the fire department if citizens need a smoke detector?
913-682-3346 is our contact phone number.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, old business, consideration of previous meeting minutes from September the 12th, 2023, regular meeting, and September the 19th, 2023, special meeting. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to accept minutes from September 12th, 2023, regular meeting, and September 19th, 2023, special meeting.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leanne Hart.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. New business, anyone in the audience wish to address the commission? Any public comments? Ms. Sarah, do we have anyone signed up? Okay. Next item on the agenda, resolution. Resolution B 2347, Capital Fund Program Grant for Planners 2.
Next two items will be handled by Julie Hurley, the Planning and Community Development Director.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you said, this is a resolution to accept the 2023 Capital Fund Program Improvement Grant for Planters 2. This is a grant that we receive annually from HUD. This is basically the money we receive to do, as the name would suggest, capital improvement projects over the Planters 2 building. The amount that we get is based on the lease-up rate, which we maintain 100%, so that's a really good rating that we have with HUD. This is also the largest grant that we've ever received for our CFP, so that's great. We can do a lot of work with it. This year, we will be replacing the chiller system over there. It's never been replaced in the building, and so there have been quite a few repairs and maintenance issues with it lately. Those bids will be going out in October. We expect it to be about an 8 to 9 month project, so fairly lengthy and extensive thing that we've got going on. Last year with our CFP, we replaced the flooring and did the painting inside over there. And prior to that, we did the major pipe replacement project, which we had to kind of displace the residents over to a hotel while that was going on. So we would just recommend that the commission adopts the resolution. I can answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve, to adopt the attached resolution accepting the 2023 CFP grant for Planters 2.
Second.
A motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Morton.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Next item on the agenda, Resolution B 2348, Capital Fund Program 5-Year Action Plan and Capital Fund Annual Statements for Planners 2.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, this is related to the CFP grant that we just discussed. This 5-year action plan is basically what we have to submit to HUD, letting them know what we're doing with our CFP grant. We submit this every year, and there has been no change, and so it discusses what we just went over. And again, if you have any questions, I can answer those for you.
Questions or comments from the commission?
No.
Thank you. If not, I'll entertain another motion.
I move that we adopt resolution number B 2348.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leanne Hart.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Julie.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda, Resolution B 2349, Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, this will be Julie McKeel, the Community Development Coordinator, to talk about the CDBG Annual Performance and Evaluation Report.
Mayor Wilson, Commissioners, it's that time of year again. The Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report is due to be turning into the HUD regarding our CDBG funds and our ESG funds. So this would be the very first year of a CAPER to our 2022-26 consolidated plan, and we are off to a very decent start. I'm liking the way that funds are trending and being spent. The program is running well. Our citizen participation plan was followed and abided by to let this CAPER be open to the public. It was available online, to the library, in our office, and upon request. We received no public comment. The Community Development Advisory Board has voted for the 2022 CAPER to come before you for permission for submission and to the HUD system IDIS to be turned in. A small synopsis of some things that happened over this year was we had 8 families that we helped with the home repair program. We had 5 families that we helped purchase a home here inside Leavenworth city limits, which is awesome. I could get on a soapbox about those interest rates, so that was good. And to boot, we've already had 2. This program year closings have already happened, so that's great.
Great.
Public service agencies with Catholic Charities, the Guidance Center, Leavenworth Interfaith Community of Hope, CASA, and St. Vincent's Clinic. And they served 5,565 people with those CDBG funds. We had a small infrastructure project, sidewalk done on Dakota from 5th to 7th on the south side. We jumped in on that project with some CIP funds, and we were able to execute some funds out that way. So it was great to get an infrastructure project in. And with demos, we had 2 homes and 4 accessory structures removed. So we had a pretty successful year and looking forward to another year.
Yeah, that's very successful.
Very great.
Well, you've done quite a bit of work, you and the team as well. Do you have any new goals for this upcoming year?
I do. You and I had a small conversation just about radon and making sure that we're being compliant. And so that's something that I'll be keeping a study on and tracking. I just sent off the very first 2 tests for home repairs this year. So we'll see how that trends and how that goes. And yeah, so I have a big goal of getting compliance with that.
That's good. Great work. Any other questions or comments? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Can you tell, you had a public hearing on the CAPER on September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
How many people were there?
Nobody. It's not common, Commissioner Hengula, it's not common for somebody to be there, but we are posting it, and the public information officer does advertise it. Like I said, we have it at the library, it's posted in the newspaper, it's online, and yeah.
Be nice if more people got involved.
Sure.
Another question I had, I noted the 5 agencies that you spoke about, and one of the agencies I was thinking of that might fit into this, if it still exists here, is, what's it called? No, the Housing for Humanity, no. Habitat for Humanity. Do they still exist here?
Habitat hasn't built a house here in probably 20 years.
It's been a long while. I know they built them on.
Combined with Kansas City, they only have been working in Kansas City. They've not built anything here in 20 years.
So the closest Habitat for Humanity is in Kansas City and Lawrence, and that's generally where I refer people when they live outside of Leavenworth city limits that are looking for that assistance.
Okay, thank you.
There's no other questions or comments. I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval of the resolution approving the 2022-23 CAPER for submittal to the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Second.
A motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, bids, contracts, and agreements. Consider award of contract for building access control system for the fire department.
This will be Mike Shore, the Deputy Chief of the Fire Department. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here tonight requesting approval to move forward with the awarding a contract for the purchase and installation of an access control system for our fire stations. And currently, we are looking to install these in Station 1 and Station 2 for now, since we feel a need to hold off on Station 3, since we'll be demoing that building and building a new one, and it's gonna be part of that same system will go into that building too, and it'll just be incorporated within the project, so try to save a little bit up front on that way. Our stations, they're lacking in some of the, access functionality there. We have manual push button entries into the thing, so nobody uses a key to get in the building. That all the employees, they just type in them, and it's just an old school manual physical buttons you push. And anytime, so you can imagine anytime you have, if you have a problem, whether it be an employee or somebody hanging out outside watching what the door code is or something, they can easily access the building. And it requires, to get those changed, I'm just guessing a dozen or so of them that we have. We have to get a locksmith out there, and they have to totally disassemble each lock, put a new code in there. And so it doesn't get done as often as it should. So with the, bringing the stations up to date and installing like an electronic system like that, where we can grant access, restrict access to anybody with just a click of a button. If somebody loses an access card, it's very easily, restricted, versus somebody loses a physical key to some of the doors that do take keys, and then, like I say, saves on the locksmith costs on that. So, fire departments, just the way the way they operate, it just lends the fire stations to a lot of vulnerabilities that, a lot of other businesses don't have. And some of those things I'd like to talk about, but probably best, after the meeting or something on there, just for the safety and the security of the employees, as well as the equipment and stuff that's housed within the stations. So, we've been working on this trying to get this project done for about 5 or 6 years, and we're excited to see some progress where we can move forward with this, hopefully. And what we noticed looking towards this is it's not apples to apples when you're, like if we're speccing out a pickup truck or something, you can kind of throw that out there. Every manufacturer makes pretty much the same thing. Or when we were talking to lots of contractors that do this type of work, they all have used different software programs. Even the hardware they use will be different, and we would talk to them about certain doors that we question, and we'd get different answers from every one of them, where some of them would want to install panic bars, some would want magnetic deals on there that will release, some of them would want motion sensors that as you walk by there it unlocks it. So the prices and all that stuff kind of were all over the place there at first. So we kind of narrowed it down the best we could after doing that research, and we issued a RFP back on July 26th with stating, several things that were important to us, but one of the big things is we wanted a scalable solution that could grow with us as, with the new station, and as things might expand into the future and not have to start over from ground zero again. So we receive, about 19 doors is what we're looking at doing between Station 1 and Station 2. So there's like 13 of them at Station 1, 6 of them at Station 2. And there's a lot of work that goes in. It seems like it might be as simple as you just throw some little electronic locks on it, but they have to replace all of the hardware. They'll be removing all of those old push button things, replacing with new hardware. They'll be installing a server in there to help control all this stuff, and then comes with equipment, that be like card printers for printing the access cards, for new employees and such. So there's a lot there, and then obviously they're pulling all the wire and all the manual labor that goes along with it. So after issuing that RFP, we received three bids back from them, and as you can see, there's out of those three there, it's obviously a very competitive, industry there. These prices, I was shocked at how close they were for what it is, the scope of the work. So we The staff, we're recommending just to go with the lowest bid, the INA Alert. We've seen a demo on their product. It's very, very nice. It's called a Vigilon. Which is owned by Motorola, which we, fire, EMS, police, everything. We use Motorola for all our radios and stuff anyhow, so it's a good company to work with. The city's 2023 CIP included $45,000 for the purchase of this system, and obviously the bids came back a little higher, significantly higher than that. So, but we do have another project going on some door openers, replacing some. They're all over 20 years old now on there, and it's broke up over 3 years, the funding for that, but just guessing that it's going to continue to be about the same as it is this year. We're going to come in under budget on that. So speaking to the finance director and stuff on that, she said we should be able to be fine with using that leftover money towards this, and the remaining roughly $15,000 would come out of the reserve CIP sales tax fund.
Cool.
Yep. Appreciate it. You got a question?
A couple of them. Was this similar to how our city hall?
It's a little more complex, because
sounds
of
like
the
it.
nature of the 24/7 operation and the in and out and everything talking to each other and everybody having awareness of who's coming and going. We've been trying to upgrade it, City Hall. We've added some cameras, reduced doors, but similar, yeah.
Similar, okay. And then this 69.9, is that for the 2 stations, or is that all 3, and that will include the new one when it's built?
No, so that is just the 2 stations for now. And one of the very first meetings with the architects on the new station, that was one of the things he had asked right off the bat was who we currently use for our access control system and stuff, because they incorporate that. It's pretty much a standard throughout all fire stations that.
So this will be incorporated in the bid on the other property?
Yes,
The third
yes.
one, okay.
The third one, and it will be not necessarily have to be the same contractor, I guess, when the general contractor awards this, but it will have to be the same
product.
Vigilon
Yeah.
product and it will be
'Cause you
set up to
got firemen going
communicate.
different places, yeah. Makes
So
sense.
when we set up our grant access through one card, that card's gonna work at any door at all 3 stations that we allow it to work at, so.
Okay.
All right. You said a total of 19 doors?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. 2 stations. Any other questions or comments?
Those are all just pedestrian doors, right?
No.
None of those are the doors, the overhead doors that,
Yes, correct. They're all
Good.
just entry doors. They're not,
Yep.
no overhead doors.
thank you.
If there's no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the base bid from INI Alert in the amount not to exceed $69,954.43 for the new access system, controlled access system.
Second.
Yep. A motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leanhart.
Aye.
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 A motion carried 5-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 7, consider award of bid for traffic calming devices, project north of Leavenworth High School.
This item will be handled by Brian Faust, the Public Works Director.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. As you mentioned, the item this evening is to consider bids received and possible award of the construction of traffic calming devices north of Leavenworth High School. The location of these devices is shown on the monitors. The city has received several requests to address concerns over excessive speed along Klimp north of the high school. In the spring of 2022, the city did install 2 temporary speed humps along Klimp Street. As these were designed for temporary use, staff removed them right after school was out for summer break, and the plan was to reinstall them in the fall at slightly different locations. There was significant input from the public expressing frustration that those were removed. To address that, staff reinstalled the devices in June of 2022. As the devices the city installed were constructed of hard rubber and plastic, They are temporary. They were not designed to last for years or for the impacts of snowplows. During this same time frame, we did receive a number of additional requests for similar products on surrounding streets. Staff received direction from the commission to move forward with a more comprehensive traffic calming solution around the high school. The area is bounded by 10th Street on the east, Klemp on the west, Holdeman on the south, and Ohio on the north. Project plans were prepared by BG Consultants, and they were advertised in the Leavenworth Times and at Drexel Technologies. Bids were opened on September 19th, with Cause Construction being the low bidder. Their bid was at $99,000, and the engineer's estimate was actually a little over $157,000. Traffic calming improvements are expected to begin later this fall, with completion within 60 calendar days of notice to proceed. The project does consist of new speed humps. There'll be 3 along Klemp Street, 2 along Grand, and 1 on South. Inspection will be done by city staff. So staff does recommend the city commission approve the low bid submitted by Cause Construction for the construction of traffic calming devices in the amount of $99,569. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Faust, do we expect that this is just going to transfer the problem to the south side of the school?
For this
I think with the parking lots, I think most of the traffic probably heads to the north.
I think it does head to the north, yeah.
But when I was in high school, I would have done everything I could to either go fast over these or to avoid them, so.
Yep.
Mr. Faust, just real quick, make sure I'm following on these diagrams you've got. Oh, I see that there. You said there's gonna be 3 or 4 humps on Klemp. I'm counting 4.
There'll be
so
3 as you come off of Haldeman on the left side of the screen or the attachment. You'll see 2. At the top of the page, it's called a match line, which then takes you over to the right side.
Okay, I'm with
See
you.
that third one up there.
Cool
Or is
deal.
it 4? Actually, there's 4 on Klemp. right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like 4.
Well, I have no questions or comments. Anyone else from the commission?
No, you're going to make some folks very happy.
Yeah, yes, it's been,
And the design of the speed bumps is going to, it's going to allow the snow plows to rise above them or something without smacking them all up?
Correct. It'll be a little bit smoother transition. Yeah.
and so this will take place before Christmas break, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I talked to Cause earlier today. They actually hope to start submitting shop drawings within the next few weeks.
Cool.
And so we actually hope to have them installed by Christmas.
Okay, all right. There's no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the bid from Cause Construction for the construction of the traffic calming devices north of Leavenworth High School.
Second.
A motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Byrne. Item number 8, consider award of contract for safe streets and roads for All Vision Zero Action Plan.
Brian?
Again, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight we have David Church with WSB here. This item this evening is to consider a contract with WSB for development of the Safe Streets and Roads for All, or SS4A, Vision Zero Action Plan. The purpose of Safe Streets for All is to improve roadway safety by significantly reducing or eliminating roadway fatalities and serious injuries. The program focuses on the development of a comprehensive safety action plan and its implementation for all users of our highways, streets, and roadways. The program provides funding to develop tools to strengthen a community's approach to roadway safety and save lives and prevent serious injuries. The Safe Streets and Roads for All program provides funding for 2 types of grants. The first is for a planning grant. These grants provide federal funds to develop, complete, or supplement a comprehensive safety action plan. Having an action plan in place is the foundation of the SS4A program. The second grant is for implementation. These grants provide federal funds to implement projects and strategies identified in your action plan. We must have an action plan that meets these requirements to apply for the implementation grants. The City of Leavenworth applied for and was awarded a $350,000 planning grant to develop a Vision Zero or Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. The plan will identify recommended strategies and policies that will help eliminate deaths and serious injuries on our roads. These recommendations may relate to street design guidelines, funding allocations, education, and emergency responders. The action plan will also be used to identify and prioritize a set of Vision Zero street reconstruction projects and potential system-wide safety programs. The plan will outline short, midterm, and long-term goals, short-term action items, indicators to track success, with a strong emphasis on data and equity and public outreach and engagement. The city did request qualifications from firms that were interested in completing this action plan for the city. 3 firms did submit their qualifications and were evaluated by our selection committee. Based on the review of the selection committee, WSP was the highest ranked firm by all committee members. The cost of $349,977.64 will be funded by a combination of grants and city funds. The federal grant will cover 80%, or roughly $280,000. KDOT has agreed to cover 10%, or roughly $35,000, and the city will be covering the remaining 10%, or $35,000. The city does pay for this up front, but we will be reimbursed through the process. Federal funding does require that we use qualifications-based selection when we select an engineer for professional services. WSP was selected through the QBS process, and they have significant experience with developing Vision Zero action plans across the country and overseas. Staff does recommend approval of the contract with WSP for Safe Streets and Roads for All Vision Zero action plan, and authorize the mayor to execute a contract in an amount not to exceed $349,977.64. And with that, I'd like to introduce David and make a few words for us.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. And Mayor and committee members, appreciate you letting me come visit with you today. My name is Dave Church. I'm a senior traffic engineer with WSP in our local offices in Kansas City. And the Vision Zero Safety Action Plan is such an important part of reducing fatalities and serious injuries in our communities. And over the last 5 years in the city of Leavenworth, you've had 11 fatalities and 67 serious injuries on your transportation system. And the goal of creating an action plan is to provide strategies and policies and working with the community so that the goal of getting to 0 fatalities and serious injuries. And this is something that doesn't happen over a short time frame. It does take a long time. It does take a real commitment of the citizens, of the cities, of everyone involved in order to make it safe. The thought of Vision Zero is that all fatalities and serious injury crashes are preventable. And so we go with that approach in creating what's called a safe system. And that includes safe vehicles, safe roads, safe speeds, safe road users, and post-crash care. So our friends with EMS and fire and police and whatnot. And so it's a real community-based approach. We'll work with a technical advisory committee to help lead where the city needs to go with regard to safety, but also involve members of the community in different emphasis area teams. Once we dive into the data and figure out what's going on, where these crashes are happening, what kind of crashes, and what then the technical advisory committee creates these emphasis area teams to focus on things, for instance, like speed or intersections or roadway segments. Young drivers could be one, older drivers could be one, things like that. And so that we really delve down into the details of things, and then we work with those emphasis area teams to come up with strategies to really make that safe system within the city and develop, like Brian said, projects that go along with those strategies. So we're excited about the possibility of working with the community, and this is a proven approach. Folks that have used this and are real serious about it have made a great strides in reducing fatalities and serious injuries. And right now, in the U.S., it's on the rise everywhere. So, any questions?
Did you say we had 11 fatalities in the last 5 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks.
Could you please maybe give a couple of examples in other cities where you've maybe done something or provided input to change it up outside of speed?
Oh, like involving speed or? Okay.
Outside of, speed improvement or anything like that, just kind of curious, so.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So last year, we recently worked with the city of Kansas City, Missouri to develop their Vision Zero action plan. One of the things that they were looking at is updating their policy on speed limits in residential neighborhoods. Really looking at maybe lowering those speed limits to make it safer, because when you do lower speeds, you do make it safer for bicyclists, pedestrians, really everybody. We also have worked with, we're just finishing the city of Omaha, Nebraska's Vision Zero action plan. And one of the things that they're really focused on, especially in their downtown area, is those roads were built years ago where there was a lot of influx traffic in to the businesses and whatnot, and then out. So a lot of one-way roads that are 3-4 lanes wide. And when you have roads like that, you do have higher speeds. With the way things are now, things have really changed, and so they're really looking at repurposing those roads, maybe converting some of the one-ways into two-ways, maybe reducing some of those lanes from 4 to 2, providing parking, providing bike lanes, different things like that, that just really make those streets better fit with the way things are today and not the way things were maybe 40 or 50 years ago. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, no, and I appreciate that. I was curious because, no, it's good to know, and I appreciate that.
Sure.
Just kind of some quick questions. Obviously, we're getting, some funding assistance on something like this to drive this, so it's kind of like, it could be a good thing though to, almost self-funded, funded fully. Do we see, maybe if I could ask, what do you think it was that maybe drove some of this for us to kind of go down this road?
Probably the fatalities.
Right, the fatalities, but I know we've done some things in the past too that, look at accident mitigation and stuff like that. I didn't know maybe how this was a little bit different, and I was just kind of curious.
So I'll take the first crack at it, and Brian can fill in anything. So we are seeing a trend across transportation funding world, whether it's the Mid-America state funding, Mid-America Regional Council funding, which is a huge source of funding, or federal funding, that without these studies in place, you're not eligible to even apply for the physical implementation of these grants. We talked about that a lot with the countywide transportation study, where there's certain programs or funding buckets within those funding partners I mentioned, that the first step is show us how this works into your larger plan. I think the idea is in a more efficient use of infrastructure dollars by showing that each grant or each project is part of a bigger system rather than one-off projects. So when we do a grant like 10th and Limit, which we did get, so we're going to reconstruct 10th and Limit for a safety perspective. That was probably about the last grant that we got in under before this big movement toward it being a part of a larger citywide or community-wide plan to address stuff like intersection safety or pedestrian safety. And so without this, we are just not eligible for those federal funds that could do everything from, there are small projects, signage or speed, but there's also complete intersections. Intersections with high traffic that are 2 or 3 million that we couldn't do internally, that now we're eligible for maybe an 80 or a 90% federal grant because we have the plan, and the plan creates a comprehensive citywide safety plan.
Okay, and that's what I was looking for,
Yes.
so I appreciate that.
Yeah, to get us the dollars so we can leverage, we really try to leverage outside dollars, as you all know. That can make a huge impact when our pavement management budget is relatively limited.
Okay, thank you, Paul, appreciate that.
That's good, yeah. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, just one, I was reading through the community outreach meetings and events and the public meeting. If we all approve this now, when do we start seeing that kind of stuff happen? We're looking at next spring or later this fall, or?
Yeah, so this is like a 12-month process. And kind of the first part of the process is really digging into the crash data and getting an understanding of what's going on. We also develop what are called high-risk maps and also high-injury maps as well, and identify those intersections or road-based segments where you're having problems now and potential problems in the future. And really, when a big part of this is the branding of Vision Zero for City of Leavenworth. So you can create your own brand so that it's, when we talk about things to the media, through the newspaper, radio, or other social media and whatnot, people understand what Vision Zero for the City of Leavenworth is and kind of what it stands for through a brand. So, but involving the public, really the emphasis area teams are where you get those folks in to focus on those specific areas. And then we do the pop-up meetings around the community at your existing events and things where people are gathering. And they get to learn about the process and also provide input. And then we also provide ways online for folks, citizens in Leavenworth to provide input. And the public meeting is towards the end, after the stakeholders and everything have provided their feedback and come up with the strategies and things like that. But, so I would say, yeah, probably sometime, probably mid-next year is when you'd have a public meeting, but you'd have opportunities to engage with the public really the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Long-term impact.
Yeah. All right, if there's no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval of the contract with WSP for safe streets and roads for all Vision Zero action plan, and authorize the mayor to execute a contract in the amount not to exceed $349,977.64.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Leonard.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Braun. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Frost.
Next item on the agenda, first consideration ordinance for a special use permit, 722 South Fifth Street to allow restaurant and office business district.
Once again, Julie Hurley on this one.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you said, this is a request for a special use permit to allow restaurant use in a property zoned OBD or office business district. Restaurant uses are allowed in the OBD district with issuance of a special use permit. The applicant had previously applied for a variance to allow a reduction in the number of required parking spaces for restaurant use. The BZA heard that request back in March of this year and did approve that variance. So this individual property owner is good to go on that requirement as well. The Planning Commission did consider this item at their September 11th meeting and voted 3-1 to recommend approval of the special use permit request, with the condition that the special use permit only applies to the first floor of the property since it is a two-story building. Right now, there is a residence on the second floor. They just want us to be clear that the special use is only applicable to the first floor. We did send notification to property owners within 200 feet as required by state statute and received no questions or comments after we did that. So staff would recommend approval of the special use permit request to allow restaurant use in a property zoned OBD based on the analysis and findings provided in the report.
Is the owner here?
I do not believe they're here now.
Okay, all right. Any questions or comments?
Just out of curiosity, what kind of cuisine are we talking about?
I'm not 100%
Oh,
sure.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Well, there's no,
This is just a typo, right?
The cut and paste error that you found on the second page?
Proposed residential.
Yes, Sarah
Okay.
alerted me to that
I thought
after.
so. I thought
Yes,
so.
yeah. Yep, apologies for that.
all right, there's no other comments, questions. You have a consensus to move forward with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan.
Thank you.
Last item on the agenda, Commissioner Leonhardt, consent agenda.
I move to approve claims for September 9, 2023 through September 22, 2023 in the amount of $932,229.52. Net amount for payroll number 19, effective September 22, 2023 in the amount of $402,946.91. Includes police and fire pension in the amount of $7,134.65.
Second.
A motion has been seconded. Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Motion carried, 5-0. That concludes our city commission meeting. Before we dismiss, I want to go around the table, starting with our city manager.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Leonhardt,
No, didn't have anything.
Commissioner Hengler.
We talked a lot about traffic safety and that sort of thing. Be careful out there, folks, especially, the sun's starting to go down earlier.
Yeah.
Get used to the idea and look before you just slam on hit the gas real fast. So, thank you.
Commissioner Martin.
Not too much tonight. Enjoyed the race on Saturday at Camp Leavenworth, so appreciate everybody coming out for that. But outside of that, have a great week.
I enjoyed working with the kids at the crafty place with the little artists, so it was a great event. I thought the weather was beautiful until Saturday, but had to be done. And anyway, it was really, really a nice event.
Yeah.
Thank you to Kelly and all the hard work and all the city staff that worked on that.
Yeah, thank you. Camp Leavenworth was definitely a huge success. Did we have the numbers?
I don't have the final Saturday numbers yet. We're at 2,500 on Friday night.
Yeah, so it was very fun, exciting. Kids had a great time. And just say thank you for everybody participating, making the festival possible. I also want to give a special shout out to our fire department for your hard work, dedication, and commitment. You all did an excellent job last week at Anthony Elementary, participating in Family Fun Night. The kids had a ball. I've heard some say that they want to grow up and be a firefighter, so you guys got some new future firefighters coming in our community. But just say thank you all. God bless you to our community. Let's continue to join together, be unified, and pray for our kids as well. That concludes our meeting. A motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.